Hey, what's going on guys? It's Lapis Gaming here, back with another Minecraft video, and this video is going to be a little bit different. Now, since I recently graduated high school, I felt like I could give you guys some advice. So, if you're in high school, this video is for you. Here are 10 things I wish I knew when I was in high school. First off, good grades don't guarantee success, and bad grades don't make you a failure. If you do well, you shouldn't flaunt your grades in front of people, and if you don't do well, don't try and get pity from them. You're accountable for your own actions, and if you do well, good job. But don't be one of those kids who's like, oh, I got a 93, I failed. Because you know you did well. A 93 is an A, obviously you did well. And to the kid who might have gotten an 80 on this one, they're not going to feel that great hearing you say that. And people who do tend to do that, tend to flaunt their grades and be like, oh, I got a 94, I failed, like, I should have done better, like, oh, I got a 93, I barely studied. Like, it seems like they're just doing it for attention, and that's just not needed. If you have friends like that, like, you could let them know, but it's just, that's not the energy that you want in your life. Which leads right into my second piece of advice, which is that you should keep people in your circle that have similar goals to you. You don't want people who are in a totally different space, right? It's not that they're at fault or that they're doing something wrong, but maybe they don't want to do something, or they have goals that are way higher than yours, and it might make you feel bad. So you want to have people that have similar goals to you, and you want to keep realistic goals for yourself. Now, the second part there, keeping realistic goals for yourself, is really important, because you don't want to keep your expectations too high, because you might disappoint yourself. But if you don't keep expectations, then you won't know what you're capable of. So keep realistic goals. Know that once you achieve them, everything's not done. You can always do better. You can always go further, because no one's perfect. And always strive for growth. So here's a post-recording note. When it comes to keeping people in your circles, you don't want to keep people that are going to peer pressure you into doing things you don't want to do. Because if you don't want to do it, it's probably for a good reason. And if they're trying to motivate you to do something that is good for you, you should always ask why. But if you know it's not good for you and they're just peer pressuring you, you probably shouldn't have those people in your friend group. And another way I like to see that goals example is like a highway. You're going from point A to point B, and not everyone on that highway will stay with you along the ride. People will enter and exit that highway, just like how they're going to leave and enter your life, and some people are not always there to stay around for the whole ride. But the real ones are the ones who come home with you. No, I'm kidding. That's kind of odd. Anyways, let's get back to the video. Now, this is a very high school specific, like people going into college, like, you know, applying for colleges and all of that. You don't want to overload on extracurriculars just so your resume has a couple more items on it than other people. Do things that are actually meaningful, things that you care about, things that you could talk about. Quality over quantity is really, really important, and if you do stuff that you actually care about, it won't feel like you're wasting your precious time. I know a lot of people, they just try to get as many board positions as they can, try to do as many clubs as they can, and just really stack up that resume. But going into college, a lot of that really won't matter unless you've done things consistently, and if you've done a lot in those things. Moving on to number 4. Since time is so precious in high school, just know that losing sleep over school is not exactly worth it. Now, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't stay up that little bit to do some studying or to do that homework. But it can't be a regular occurrence that you're losing out on sleep every single day, and some of it could be accredited to a lack of time management. Managing your time is really, really important in high school, because you go to school, you get home, and you might even get home a little bit later. You might have clubs, you might do sports, and it only leaves you so much time to get your work done, which means that you can't spend that much time doom scrolling or using social media, watching YouTube, any of that, because time is just so important. And getting your sleep is also really important, because in my sophomore year of high school, I didn't have a really great sleep schedule. Some nights I would sleep at 12, I would sleep at 1. I had to wake up at around 6 in the morning and go run onto a bus and go to school, and every single day would just feel so exhausting, so tiring, and the whole cycle would just continue. So I recommend that you should get your sleep, because especially in senior year, I got my sleep almost every night, and it's just a complete game changer. Your mood is more, you feel more motivated, you just feel good. Number 5 here is that you should use a to-do list. I started using a to-do list back in middle school. The one I use is called todo-list. and I'm a really big fan of it because there's just a lot of customization. Occasionally they give you free codes for premium, and it just helps organize your life a bunch. All the clutter that's in your head, it just puts it into words, puts it into tangible things that you can check off, that you can finish, and it really eases off the stress. Because in high school, you have so many different classes and you have so much different work to do and so many different deadlines, right? And if you're able to plan it out on a to-do list, it makes sure that you're not regularly cramming and that you're not rushing to get things done, like essays and projects. Even though, I mean, it tends to happen anyway because people will put effort into things that are more immediate compared to long term. And in high school, there's just so many different assignments all the time that you do end up doing some of the projects and essays last minute, but it's nicer to have it put down so you're aware of what's coming up. Now, I had a couple of my friends as well I was actually one of those kids back in junior year, sophomore year, one of them. Me and my best friend were like, we talked and we were like, for prom, we're just gonna go to Taco Bell and then go home. Like, we're not gonna go to prom. But in the end, we both did end up going to prom and we both had a blast. So I definitely recommend that any of you guys who are going to be seniors soon, you should definitely go to prom. You can go to prom as a junior if you want. Some schools tend to have more expensive proms. I think my school had a slightly more expensive prom. But it's all up to you. But senior year, just try to make the most of every opportunity that comes for you to have fun with your friends. Go to homecoming, go to senior sunrise, senior sunset, go to movie nights if they have them. Just try and spend as much time with your friends as possible, and it'll make your senior year as memorable as it can be. Now, when it does come to prom, people tend to take their dates. Now, for prom, you don't necessarily need to date someone to go to prom. You could take a friend, and that is also perfectly fine. And this leads right into my next point, that for the high school experience, you don't need to date someone. Of course, you want to get some experience in the dating world and, find out how all those things work. But it's not necessary for the high school experience, because if you're going to be totally real, that relationship is probably not going to last past high school, because that's what mostly tends to happen. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't date, and I'm not saying that you should date for marriage or date for long term. Like, that's not necessary. It's always good to get some experience, because dating is a whole different realm of your life, and you don't really start exploring it until you reach high school and college. But don't be down, don't be sad if you don't have a date, or if you haven't dated anyone, and if you don't have a date to prom. Honestly, in my opinion, if you're there with the people that you really care about, you're gonna have a blast at prom. Now, when it does come to dating, if you are dating someone and you're a senior who's applying to colleges, and just in general, if you have a partner, don't let your college decisions or any life decisions in general be affected by that fact. Relationships, especially in high school and college, they can come and go. There's no guarantee that you'll last all 4 years of college or all 4 years of high school. So if a really good opportunity comes your way, you can't let it down. Just for example, for the fact that you don't want to be away from your partner. An example I can give is my sister's boyfriend, who went across the country for nearly 4 months because he got a really good opportunity. And if really good opportunities come your way, you have to take them. And relationships can't necessarily be a factor when it comes to that, especially when you're so young, because creating your career and finding your path is really important, and the person you're with should understand that. I've heard from people that are seniors right now, and they're like planning their colleges around like going to the same colleges as their partners and doing all of that. But if a really good college acceptance comes your way and you turn it down just so you can go to the same college as your partner, I don't know if that's the best idea, because you're setting up your life for the next 4 years, and who's to say that even if you guys are together, it's gonna last 4 years. Now, I'm not trying to play like a pessimistic card here, but it's just like a little bit of realism into the fact that there's so much ahead, and you don't want to regret not going to that better college, for example, that you got accepted to. Now, something that's really difficult, just because the whole high school atmosphere is always quite judgy, is just try not to worry about what other people think of you, right? if you're doing something for yourself, that's amazing. But don't be compelled to do something just because other people are. If everyone else is going around, going to parties and stuff, doesn't mean you have to go to parties. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. And don't let peer pressure control you, because high school can be really toxic, but as soon as you throw those caps up and leave, trust me, 90% of those people you'll never talk to or even see again. So whatever you do, if you want to get a perm, get a perm. But you shouldn't get a perm because the 4 people in your friend group are getting perms. Do it for yourself. And as long as you're happy with where you're at, that's all that matters. And let's say you're not happy with where you're at. Don't wait until New Year's and make a New Year's resolution that almost no one ever follows. If you really wanted to do something, you would start now for yourself. Now the last piece of advice I have, number 10. Although I haven't really named all of them as I went through. I kind of just like hopped down the bullet points. But my last piece of advice here is that high school, regardless of what other people say, will not be the best 4 years of your life. It's a very small portion, right? If you're 60 years old, the 4 years in high school, they're just a 15th of your life. And obviously there's gonna be some people who are like, oh, I peaked in high school, blah blah blah. But that doesn't need to be true. You can always grow, you can always improve, and throughout those 4 years in high school, you're gonna make some amazing memories, you're gonna meet some amazing people, and you'll make some lifelong friends. Because my sisters are still super close with people that they met in their high schools. And some of my best memories with my best friends also came in high school. So high school is not the best, but it is definitely an experience that is worth having and having to the fullest. Whether that be dating, going to prom, keeping your grades up, and getting out of there on graduation night. This is Lapis. I'll see you guys next time.